The following program is brought to you by the 0DB Movie Podcast feed. Hey, welcome back to the solo set here on the 0DB podcast feed. We are doing Netflix series Altered Carbon, and we are on episode 7 called Nora Inu. Let's jump right in. So Kovac is dead. That's what we open with, right? We think he's dead because his sister, which we now found out the ninja is his sister Ray or Raylene, she's got the paddles on him. So she's trying to bring him back, and while she's trying to bring him back, you kind of see him flashbacking to basically he was hiding in the closet and watched his mom get killed by his dad, and his dad basically throw his mom's body into what they call a coolant pool, which basically disintegrated her body, and she was gone. So Kovac, as a young child, comes out and basically blows his dad's stack right from behind. Boom, right in front of his sister, because his sister, I think, was next. So he was defending his sister, which is pretty crazy. Pretty tough scene. So now we got basically Kovac is in this interrogation room. Now we know it's a VR interrogation from watching the rest of this series. And he's a kid sitting in this chair, and basically there's this interrogation officer, which seems to be the head cheese, of the what we find out is the protectorate. So he's a protectorate officer. He's the interrogation VR guy, and we see that Kovac as a kid is a pretty tough kid. He's all cold in the eyes, like my dad deserved it kind of thing. He killed my mom. They tried to pin it on him because the body was never found because it went into that coolant pool. So basically, this guy sees that he's a pretty tough kid, and he offers him basically a position as a CTAC officer, which is working for the protectorate. And of course, Kovac the whole time is like, "What about my sister?" And he's like, "Your sister will be taken care of. The thing is, you guys have to be separate. You'll never see each other again, but you have to You have to believe me when I tell you that she's going to be fine. She's going to have a new family. She's going to have a new life. She's going to be great. You're going to be a CTAC officer. You're going to get trained to be a killer going on and off worlds and different bodies. Tomorrow, you're actually going to go into an adult body and go off world." So right away, he starts working as a crazy militia type. I don't know if it's militia, but a protectorate. So it sounds like interstellar FBI, if you will, or something like that. So now Kovac wakes up, and for a second, and his sister's like, "All right, your body is a piece of shit. I'm going to resleeve it. It's poisoned. It's going to kill you. I'm going to inject you with this stuff, knock you out. You'll wake up in a new body. You'll be fine." Kovac is like, "Hell no, don't do it." She's like, "Dude, you're high as hell on this stuff. You definitely do want a new sleeve." And he says, "No, promise me you won't." So she's like, "All right, fine, right?" So basically we see Kovac recovering what looks like hours, if not days. And he's coming to, and he's kind of he can't believe his sister's alive. He thought his sister was dead. Apparently he saw her die. So she's not dead. She survived. She survived from going back as being a kid. She basically tells him, "Look, when you left and you were promised that I was going to have a good life, I didn't. I was in that orphanages. I was basically abused and all this crap until she was able to find her own way." Basically, she said, "I found my own way. I got my own way in life. I made enough money where I could buy a bunch of clones. And for the last 250 years that you've been gone, I've been re-sleeving myself into new clones, staying the same, Now I've kind of made a name for myself. I got myself some money kind of thing. So while she's explaining that to him, he's going in and out of consciousness and he keeps having flashbacks of being SeaTac. So basically, he's in the killing team for SeaTac targets, right? So they're all brought to a new area. Boom, special ops type stuff. So now we see him flashing back as a SeaTac officer, and they all get all dressed up and ready to go, almost stormtrooper style. And they're going to attack some like Yakuza type thing, right? So they all infiltrate this place. And Kovac goes straight for the head guy. So he finally makes it up to the head guy, and he's confronted by the head guy's bodyguard, or right-hand man, or whatever it is. So he takes off his helmet, he turns around, and it's his sister. What? So his sister is basically like some badass bodyguard for the main guy of this Yakuza. And she was like, brother, holy crap, where have you been? I've been looking for you. And he's like, sister, holy crap, where have you been? I've been wondering about you. And then they instantly like snap into this like back on the same team thing. She totally kills all the Yakuza. He kills his whole SeaTac team. Right? And it's like this crazy like she's totally like slicing and dicing them. He's totally just shooting all these crazy soldiers. So basically they both turn on their teams and bosses and they kill everyone and they peace out. So they escape to basically like the next scene is them at a bar and they're catching up like, holy crap, where have you been? She's like, where have you been? She tells her about her real shitty past. He feels crappy. So now they got to come up with an escape plan because now they're going to have SeaTac and the Yakuza looking for them. And that's not good. So he's like, all right, we're going to go back to the forest. And she's like, well, we're going to go hide? He's like, no, we're going to go through the forest and we're going to go to where we were as kids because there's stuff we need to find there. Back in episode 1. So they go looking for what they called the patchwork man when they were kids. She thinks it's fake. He's like, no, it's got to be real. So they're looking through the forest. They're going deep, and they like run into what's called Songspire, which is basically it looks like it's like this like it looks like fiber optic in like these tree branches and stuff. It's a glowing light, and it's called the Songspire tree. So they're trying to follow it to find that for some reason. So they kind of make up while they're talking in the forest, and they hug and kiss, and like they missed each other, and like now they want to like be inseparable, right? So next thing you know, they get captured by Quell and her peeps. They get taken to an undisclosed location, and basically Kovac wakes up on like this bridge, this like wooden rope bridge scaling across who knows how far. And, he's tested and talked to by Quell, and it's an ongoing thing. Long story short, they get accepted, and now they're envoys. Envoys are basically the rebels that Quell runs to try to stop everything that we talked about in those past episodes. So they all start working together now, knowing who they are, knowing who Kovac is. They start training each other because he knows some things they don't. They start training him in things that he doesn't know. And they start like pulling off jobs, like a gang, or a rebel alliance, if you will. And they start liking each other. And, you got the whole thing of them bonding. So basically, Quell's cause is to stop immortality. She wants this meth thing to end because what everyone thought was a good thing is now being exploited and used by just the rich, the meths, because only they could afford to live forever in their own sleeves. If you keep re-sleeving and not the own sleeve, you go crazy, like Demi, the twin, did. So Kovac is caught, and he's interrogated by his old SeaTac boss when they're doing one of these missions, right? He basically gets himself caught to let the team escape. So now he's in VR interrogation back with that old boss that put him into the SeaTac, and he's basically going to torture him. They're going to have it out because he's like, dude, I made you a soldier. I took you out of like nothing, and now you totally turned against us. So Quell somehow breaches the VR and gets in and helps Kovac get out of the VR and beat this this commander of the forces. So after all this, now they're back. Quell Ray, Kovacs, they're all back in the army, back in the hiding area, the forest area. And it seems like Ray doesn't really trust Quell and the gang. She's all like, look, we just found ourselves. Let's stay together. F them. We can do this without them. Kovacs wants to stay. He's falling in love with Quell. And she's not liking it. So Quell and Kovacs, they have a moment. They go out by the lake. She tells them about this book she has and all this stuff. And they get intimate and they do it. A lot of these episodes just, they jump right in and they do it. They fall in love. They make love. And Ray sees them. So now Ray is super pissed because there's a whole thing of jealousy, obviously. I know she's the sister, but I mean, there's the jealousy thing of like, we just found each other, now you're falling in love. I want to get out of this group. You're going to obviously want to stay in this group. And we find out that Quell actually created the stack technology to make people live forever. She originally did it for a good thing, for people to live forever in like a whole sense of peace, but obviously it got exploited by the rich, and now only they can afford it. The idea got turned into like a meth thing. She wanted to have these stacks so we can explore space, go to other worlds, and not have to be in the human body. And of course, it all got turned around for greedy purposes. Basically meth hogs. So Kovacs falls in love with her, and she reciprocates. So now they're like heavily in love. Boom, boom, boom. They do it. And like I say, Ray sees them. She's pissed. Kovacs wakes up in present time, and he's with his sister. So in his flashback, she was pissed, and he was like, come on. And now he wakes up, and she's there in real life now, and he's all like awkward because he's remembering that. So it's really awkward with his sister because he doesn't know what's going on, where she came from, what's going on. He's kind of not like believing her all the way. So we go back to OG Kovacs, and the whole camp is basically it's bombed. It's got that infectious bomb that gets dropped, the nerve agent where everyone gets killed, and Kovacs and Quell and Ray were far from it. So they never got killed, right? But Kovacs doesn't know that. Kovacs thinks he's the only one. So he starts looking for Ray, and he starts looking for Quell, and he can't find them. And then he finally does, and we realize that he survived as well as Quell and Ray. So, present Kovacs asks Ray, how did Quell die? Because you lived, and I saw you both die. So she tells a story of her and Quell escaping in the ship. And what it shows is as the ship is escaping, he sees they're getting away, and then boom, it gets blasted out of the sky. And that's where you're like, holy crap, that's how he lost Quell and Ray. But somehow Ray survived. So then present Kovacs figures out that Ray backed up her stack and blew up the ship with herself and Quell in it to kill Quell. Yeah, this is what it comes to. It comes to that his sister is not being very honest with him, and she was jealous of her because she friggin' killed Quell. She backed up her stack, and then she basically blew up the ship with both of them in it. And that's how Quell died. Kovacs is so upset because he almost lost Ortega. And he was already upset about almost losing Ortega because he had lost Quell. And he keeps seeing these visions of Quell. And now he finds out his sister, who he was even the most sad about losing, is the one that killed Quell. And after all that, his sister says, I did it all for you. I did it all for you. In like this creepy voice, like, hey brother, I did it for you. And then it ends. So you're not left on a cliffhanger, but you're definitely left on the like, whoa, what? Because now it is almost getting like soap opera-like. Because, I mean, she did it for him. So is she going to kill Ortega for him too? Like, does she want to be with him? And maybe not in that way, but like in this like crazy obsessed, I lost you as a child, now I want you forever, and that way we can never be apart. Man, I don't know. But, That's it, folks. That's that one. We're chugging right along on this one. It's exciting. So stay there, and we're gonna get ready for the next one. So I'm glad you enjoyed this one. If you want to listen to this podcast, you can listen to it on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Podomatic. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to subscribe. And any questions or comments, you can go to zerodbpodcast.com. That's where we have all the videos, all the episodes, all social media links. If you want a Twitter, it's at zerodb23. And Instagram, Instagram and Facebook is at 0db podcast. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, everyone. And then we'll catch you on the next one. I'm your humble host, Gabe Aniel, here on the solo set for the 0db podcast feed. And have a good one. Take care. Thanks.